Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly guide to all things Broadway and beyond. I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And I'm Paul Wontorek. Today we hit the red carpet with John Leguizamo at opening night of Latin History for Morons, taking behind the scenes at an exclusive photo shoot with Meteor Showers Laura Benanti and Keegan-Michael Key. Catch up with the stars of Off-Broadway's Cruel Intentions musical and more.
And later, we sit down with Beanie Feldstein to talk about her roles in Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird and the Tony-winning revival of Hello, Dolly. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Paul?
The Phantom of the Opera is gearing up for its 30th anniversary on January 26, 2018, and are welcoming a new leading man for the occasion. Swedish star Peter Jöback will once again wear the mask as the Phantom at the Majestic Theatre starting January 15th and will stay in the role of the sexy and scary Music Man through March 31st. Jöback is the winner of 2 Guldmasken Awards, the Swedish equivalent of the Tonys, for the musical Christina and for playing the MC in Cabaret, and has previously played the Phantom in the West End, in Stockholm, and briefly on Broadway in 2013. Jöback replaced his current leading man James Barber in the role and joins current stars Ali Ewald as Christine and Rodney Ingram as Raoul.
Did you just say the Swedish Tony is called the Guldmasken Award?
Guldmasken Award. And before you even ask, yes, the trophy is a big gold mask.
And now he's the masked man in Phantom. Kind of funny, no?
Yes, apparently he looks good in a mask.
He looks good out of a mask, too.
Of course, he's joining a long list of men who spend hours covering their handsome faces in horror makeup for the role.
Ah, the cross that Broadway fans must bear. Jake Shears, lead singer of the glam pop group Scissor Sisters, and Grammy winner Kirsten Maldonado, member of the hit a cappella group Pentatonix, will make their Broadway debuts in Kinky Boots. Shears will take on the role of Charlie Price for a run from January 8th, 2018 through April 1st, while Maldonado will play Lauren beginning February 2nd for an engagement through April 8th. Also joining the cast of the Tony-winning musical next year will be J. Harrison G., who will return as Lola beginning January 8th. Shears and G are succeeding original Kinky stars Stark Sands and Billy Porter, who returned to the show back in September.
How long do you think before we see an ad that says, "Come have a kinky kiki on Broadway"?
I'm willing to bet those banners are being printed as we speak.
Willy Wonka is shutting down The Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Broadway reboot of the hit West End musical based on the Roald Dahl book and popular 1971 movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, is closing its doors. The musical comedy will end its run at the L'Enfantine Theatre on January 14, 2018, after 27 previews and 305 regular performances. Jack O'Brien directs the show, which features 2-time Tony winner Christian Borle in the role of Wonka, songs by the Hairspray team of Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, choreography by Joshua Bergasse, and an adorable kickline of Oompa Loompas. Producers promise a U.S. tour and international tours in Australia and the UK in the coming years.
Pulitzer Prize winner Chiara Allegria Hudes and Aaron McKeown's new musical Miss You Like Hell will have its New York premiere at the Public Theater as a new addition to the arts organization's 2017-18 season. Reprising the role of Beatriz will be 2-time Tony nominee Daphne Rubin Vega, who started the musical's world premiere at San Diego's La Jolla Playhouse last fall. The show, which follows Beatriz, an undocumented immigrant on the verge of deportation, and her 16-year-old daughter Olivia as they embark on a road trip across the country, will open April 10th, 2018 at the Public and play in a limited engagement through May 6th.
Miss You Like Hell is the perfect title for a Daphne Rubin Vega musical.
Is it because you always miss her like hell?
Exactly. You know when I really missed her like hell?
When?
When I saw the Rent movie. 1984, the chilling stage adaptation of George Orwell's classic novel, ran almost 5 months on Broadway earlier this year, but will not be competing for any 2018 Tony Awards. The Tony Awards Administration Committee announced on November 9th that the play did not qualify because it, quote, did not fulfill all the eligibility requirements as outlined by the Tony rules and regulations, unquote. Subsequent reports have suggested that Tony nominator was not allowed to see the show, but there was no further confirmation from the production. The news is a bummer for all the talented people involved with 1984, including directors Robert Icke and Duncan McMillan, and stars Reed Birney, Tom Sturge, and Olivia Wilde. Big brother, indeed.
Come From Away, the hit Broadway musical about 7,000 travelers who find themselves stranded together in the small town of Gander, Newfoundland during 9/11, will be adapted as a feature film by the Mark Gordon Company. Irene Sankoff and David Hine, who wrote the book, Music and lyrics for the stage production are attached to adapt the project for the screen, while a director will be announced in the near future. Meanwhile, the Broadway production, which received 7 Tony nominations, including Best Musical, and won Christopher Ashley the Tony for Best Direction of a Musical, is currently playing the Schoenfeld Theater, and will launch a North American tour in 2018.
When we come back, we'll have a ball behind the lens with Meteor Showers, Laura Benanti and Keegan-Michael Key, meet Waitress National Tour leading lady Desi Oakley, and more. This week on Broadway.com, Aladdin stars Telly Leong and Courtney Reed play Never Have I Ever. Oscar-winning torch song icon Mercedes Ruehl stops by Show People. The series finale of Will Rowland's Dear Evan Hansen vlog, and more.
Broadway's Come From Away is a Best Musical winner all across North America. This stirring and inspiring musical takes you to a place you never want to leave. Celebrate the best of humankind and the best in all of us at Come From Away, the remarkable true story of the small town that welcomed the world.
Hi everyone, this is Haley Kilgore from Once on This Island, and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome back. Tony nominee John Leguizamo is back on Broadway in Latin history for Morons. His hilarious one-man show offers a classroom crash course that spans about 3,000 years. We caught up with Leguizamo on the red carpet at the Great White Way opening. He told us why he thinks this show is his most political one yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been socially political, you know, but this is the first time that I'm really political. And also, it's the first show that is not just about a sort of an insular story, it's about history and American history and Latin history and the effects of it. This one came pretty easily because my son was being picked on in school and I wanted him to have the facts and the words to defend himself with. And then it reminded me about my own childhood when I was being picked on and I didn't have the language or the facts to defend myself when people would say, what have you people done to this country? What have you contributed? I went blank because it wasn't being taught to me in textbooks or in classes. And it should have been. That's the whole point of the show, is that there is a lot of information that's not being included, that's being kept out of history textbooks. And that's a problem.
Originally scheduled to play at Studio 54 through February the 4th, Latin History for Morons has already been extended through February the 25th. Leguizamo revealed why he's honored to share the lesson in New York City.
This has got to be the greatest theater capital in the world. I mean, you have a really smart audience, you have a really hungry audience for knowledge, and they love their theater and they come and support it. I mean, this is where theater started in America, was in New York, and to be here, I feel like I'm making history.
Tony winner Laura Benanti and Emmy winner Keegan-Michael Key are bringing the fun to the new comedy Meteor Shower, playing a wild couple that shakes up a dinner party hosted by the more straight-laced pair of Amy Schumer and Jeremy Shamus. We recently invited the two stars for a photo shoot and chat about the crazy dynamics of the show and keeping their cool around celebrity playwright Steve Martin.
Part of the joy of this experience has been watching the delight in his eyes.
Yeah.
Watching him watch it come together. It's been lovely.
I can't look at him, so I don't know. I can't look. I get too nervous. And every time I say something, he's like, "What?" Like I feel like he can't hear me, or like. So then I'm even more like, and he's like, "Get away from me!" But I'm such a huge fan of his. It makes me so nervous when I see him. And then I try to be cool, where I'm like, "Oh, hey, Steve," and it's just so much. I'm perpetually awkward. I'm like forever awkward. That's gonna be the name of my album. Forever awkward.
With its face-off between two very different couples, Meteor Shower has been compared to Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which naturally made us wonder if Benanti and Key were the Nick and Honey in the equation.
If anything,
What
we're the
just
George and
happened?
Martha, they're the Nick and Honey. And that's all I can say without ruining the play. It's a very absurdist
Yes, that's
Virginia
the word.
Woolf, or
That's
an
the word.
absurdist A Delicate Balance. It's an absurdist Albee. Pick an Albee, and it's the absurdist version of that. Yeah, it's
You just sounded so smart.
So thank you.
Yeah,
honey.
I mean, I know you're really smart, but you just sounded like very like theatery.
You're great.
What's happening?
So yeah, we're definitely the George and I would say we're the George and Martha. It's just the fact is, in this play, the George and Martha are visiting.
Right.
They're visiting Nick and Honey. It's a flip. Yeah. They've decided that the best way to keep their relationship fertile and exciting and fecund with opportunity.
Jesus Christ.
Is
Google
to try
fecund.
Is to try to keep everything as open.
It's not a real word.
F-E-C-U-N-D.
I just Googled it on my hand, and it's not a real word. It's really about human behavior and how we interact with each other. And it's very, very funny. Audiences are really enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, do you like how I'm like, audiences are enjoying it? Where I'm like hypnotizing them. Audiences are enjoying it.
That play was good.
Meteor Shower is set in the 90s, a time of excess for its 4 characters.
But in that time also, that was a time of surplus and excess, you know, in the 90s. And I think we all thought, yeah, we shouldn't have regulations on things, and we shouldn't worry about these rules so much, and we should indulge the id and not the super ego.
Yeah.
The early 90s weren't that different.
It was very Epicurean. Who's smart now? Me.
I don't know what happened to me today.
You're like an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yes.
It's very annoying.
Both Epicurean and Dionysian.
Oh, Jesus. I hope the audience leaves saying, Laura Benanti looks beautiful.
Honey, they do.
That's what I want them to leave
No, I
with.
guarantee
she
you
had a
they
baby?
do.
That's what I want them to say.
Yeah.
And then also all that stuff you just said. But later.
But later?
Later.
No, the first thing I should be thinking is...
She had a baby?
She's gorgeous.
Where'd that baby go?
Okay.
And then animus, animal.
And then animus, anima,
ego,
Jungian.
Jungian, right.
She was saying, Fred, you're going off the road. I was thinking about Laura Benanti.
Yes.
I was blinded. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I almost caused an accident on the turnpike.
Don't cause accidents.
Going home to Clifton.
Clifton. I have family in Clifton. Anyway.
Desi Oakley has performed on Broadway in Annie, Les Mis, and Wicked, traveled the country as Eva Perón in Evita, released her own EP, Don't Look Back, and now she's making and baking her way across America as Jenna Hunterson in the national tour of Waitress. We recently had the chance to chat with Oakley about taking on the role of the precious pie maker and why theatergoers should treat themselves to this sweet show.
I'm thrilled to play Jenna. I have a strong feeling she will be one of the most dynamic women I will ever play. She's multi-layered. She's complicated. She is real. She is very good at burying her problems in pie. She's an expert pie maker. She just doesn't face it. And the whole story is about people and things making her face it, making her face her reality and what her truth is.
Featuring a score by Sarah Bareilles, Waitress bowed at the Brooks Atkinson Theater in 2016 and will now be serving up tears, laughter, and pies all across the country. Oakley went on to share why bringing this story beyond Broadway means so much.
There are so many people that can't come to New York City to see Broadway. I'm excited because the producers, the creative team, sees that, says this story here on Broadway is so important to tell that we're packing up and we're coming to you. That is cool. People are gonna love Waitress because it is a beautiful show. I think there's something really important that's going on, kind of underlying in the theme that I feel like every person, every human needs to hear. It is that of accepting yourself for who you are, loving yourself for who you are, and realizing the impact that you have on the world around you. I mean, it's that deep, and when you watch it, it's that deep, but surrounding it is this laughable, witty, hysterical, gorgeous, heartwarming show. And then there's pie. I'm like, what more could you want? Literally, what more could you want in that situation?
Elite teen New Yorkers, revenge, scandal, and all of your favourite songs from the 90s? This is Cruel Intentions, the musical. After a sold-out pop-up engagement at Le Poisson Rouge this past February, the stage adaptation of Roger Campbell's 1999 film returns to the downtown venue for an off-Broadway run beginning on November the 17th. We caught up with Carrie St. Louis, Lauren Zachrin, and the rest of the cast in the rehearsal room ahead of this weekend's first previews.
They did make Cruel Intentions into a musical. It's at Le Poisson Rouge. It's all your favorite dialogue and words from the movie, plus 90s jukebox music. It's so much fun. It's about Catherine and Sebastian, or stepbrother and stepsister, and they devise this sort of sexual game, I suppose, to deflower the headmaster's daughter, me, Annette Hargrove. And it's a entire woven game of sort of coming of age, and it's very sexy, very fun, kind of dark.
Cruel Intentions includes nods to the film starring Sarah Michelle Gellar and Reese Witherspoon, as well as a score featuring songs from Boyz II Men and more beloved 90s artists. The unique theatrical experience is sure to ensnare both die-hard fans of the film and those taking in this juicy story for the first time.
I love this movie. It's a throwback from the 90s, and I mean, I loved it when I was a kid. My sister and I used to rent it and hide it from our parents. So yeah, I was like, I have to do this, and I ended up, you know, falling in love with it, and I've been with it for 3 years. This time around, we have a couple of new songs, which is great. Just the venue itself is just super fun. I mean, we were here in February, but for just a quick 5-show pop-up.
What they're really going to love about the show is that it's not just the movie, it's a whole new experience, because it's the movie set to the soundtrack that they already love and with added new songs. I mean, Boyz II Men, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I mean, it's all the stuff that you want.
And it's just this ultimate roller coaster of love, of hate, of seduction, of heartbreak, of revelations, etc. So it's pretty cool.
We take these like dark matters and these dark events and we kind of thread in some comedy. And I think it's important to laugh at the ugliness of humanity, because like every single one of us in this room has done something nasty to someone else in our lives. And I think it's important to observe it and look at it and laugh at it and be able to be like, wow, that was messed up. And to analyze it.
And it's just, when it's all in front of your face, it's so much fun. You become a part of the world as opposed to just sitting on your couch and watching it. We're walking through the audience, we're singing the soundtrack. I mean, it's so much fun, and the energy in that room is out of this world.
The venue is so perfect in terms of like, I don't know, feeling the freedom and the kind of like osmosis that we might experience with the audience, and just like really taking their energy to feed us.
I think people will love to hate these characters in a really great way. Rich, terrible, terrible people doing terrible, terrible things for your entertainment and enjoyment.
When we come back, Beth Stevens sits down with Lady Bird and Hello Dolly star Beanie Feldstein.
Broadway's Come From Away is a Best Musical winner all across North America. This stirring and inspiring musical takes you to a place you never want to leave. Celebrate the best of humankind and the best in all of us at Come From Away, the remarkable true story of the small town that welcomed the world.
2017 has been a banner year for rising star Beanie Feldstein. She made her Broadway debut in the hot ticket revival of Hello Dolly alongside superstar Bette Midler, had a ringside seat as her bestie Ben Platt won a Tony Award for Dear Evan Hansen, and now is making a splash in the new Greta Gerwig movie Lady Bird, which is already garnering Oscar buzz. We recently sat down with Feldstein to talk about living every theater kid's dream and more. Welcome, Beanie Feldstein.
Thank you. This is really, I feel like I'm like in my childhood bedroom watching a video of someone else, but it's me. That's what it feels
because
like to
you're
be
here at Broadway.com.
Yeah.
And you are, I mean, I think you're the ultimate theater kid who grew up and made good. Is that true?
Yes. I feel like I'm living my dream. My childhood self would freak out if she knew that this was happening.
Don't tell her.
I won't.
We don't want her freaking out.
No, we don't want her to freak out.
Well, congratulations on Lady Bird. This is a beautiful movie.
I think so too.
It's so good, and it's such a special, deep, funny, moving script. What did you feel like when you first read it?
Well, first I felt very lucky to even be reading it because I loved Greta's work so much from what she'd co-written with Noah, and so to just get the email of like you're gonna read Greta Gerwig's directorial and solo writing debut, I was like, I just get to read it? Like, that's insane.
But it doesn't stop there. You get to do more.
Yes, and then I got the email that was like, here's the script. We really think you would be right for Julie. And then within 10 minutes, they were like, actually, you're going to go in and read with Greta. And she's going to, and I didn't know if she would be reading with me, but it ended up that in my audition, she read Lady Bird and I read Julie. And so even that felt like a privilege. You look at these names and it's like, not only are these incredible actors, but these are also all actors that have either done theater in New York or are sort of theater legends.
Right, you have Tony winners here. Every single person on this poster has been on the New York stage.
Yeah,
yes.
I know, it's insane. And
it's a theater kid's dream. Give me your little children's theater resume. What were you in?
I was Winifred in Once Upon a Mattress, which my mom, to this day, with everything that's going on, says is my best performance to date, and that I will never top it. And I was 11.
Peaked early.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool, thank you. I was Dorothy Brock in 42nd Street at 14, which was just hysterical, just like this, washed up old actress who's like bitter at 14, Ada Annie in Oklahoma.
All the classics.
Yeah, and then I was Millie in Millie, which I think I was a bit miscast, but I did it anyway.
But you did it anyway.
Yeah.
It was fine. You managed. And you grew up in LA, which is not really a theater town.
No, I stumbled into this incredible community theater and really taught me so much of what I know and how I got here, and really shaped my love of theater. When I was 7, I just walked in cold and sang.
And you've been obsessed with it ever since, because you went to Stage Door Manor.
Yes.
So many people.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years. But yeah, it's just to talk about theater and musicals all day, every day, and work really hard. I think that's something that I loved about Stage Door, was that you really worked hard. We were in rehearsal or learning lines every minute of every day.
Obviously, we haven't even mentioned this. You're in Hello, Dolly, the other theater kid's dream, with the cast, with Bette Midler. So let's talk about the connection between Lady Bird and Hello, Dolly, because they're connected.
They are connected, this film is so special and so important, and getting to know Greta and Saoirse has been truly one of the joys of my entire life. And then it led to Hello, Dolly, so it's not only was it huge for me as a person and in my career, but then it led to this next amazing opportunity. So Scott Rudin and Eli Bush, who are my
producers.
heroes, yes, and our producers, produced Lady Bird and gave me that opportunity. And we're auditioning for Hello, Dolly, and they hadn't found a Minnie Faye. And Eli was on set with us, and Scott was watching all of our dailies, and they sort of had this idea that maybe I could be Minnie.
Because you get to sing in Lady Bird.
Exactly. So they're she really sings. She sings. I auditioned with Telsey in LA, because they have an LA office now, and I went on tape with a casting associate out there, just me and a pianist and the casting associate, and I found out an hour and a half later.
Wow, it was that fast?
Yeah, I thought I was being punked or something. I saw the call from my agent, and I was oh, maybe the tape didn't work, or maybe I got a call back and I need to fly out to New York or something. But he was you're gonna be Minnie Faye, and I was no. And I was in my childhood bedroom, so it was just with all my posters on the wall, and with my dad and my mom downstairs, it just felt...
Were you jumping on the bed and screaming?
Oh, I hysterically cried and fell to the floor, and I was running down the stairs, screaming for my parents at the top of my lungs.
So let's time travel into the future, and let's just say you're looking back at 2017. This is a really monumental year for you for so many different reasons. How are you going to look back on this year?
Lady Bird will always be a marker on my timeline. That's what it feels like. There was my life before Lady Bird, and there was my life after Lady Bird. I think for so many reasons, I've never felt so lucky to be a part of something. I just it makes me sort of emotional. This film is special and has sort of a magic around it, and both within my career and how much I learned from Greta and from Saoirse and Laurie, and just the type of character I was playing was so much more vulnerable and emotional than I've ever been asked to play on screen before. So I learned so much as an actor, and then personally I gained all these people in my life. Now I have Saoirse, and we have that relationship that Lady Bird and Julie
had.
That
chemistry is real.
That I don't know if you've ever met Saoirse, but she is delicious. You cannot not be in love with her, and I think we're both very touchy, affectionate people. So when we met, we were hi, oh my God, I'm so excited to do this with you, and it feels really monumental. And then I'm also in Hello, Dolly.
The hottest ticket in town. Can you walk me through your Tony night? Because we haven't mentioned this, but you are besties with Ben Platt.
It was surreal. I mean, it was absolutely surreal. And when, just to see us in the revival and the best musical of the year.
You guys did high school shows together, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I played his grandma in Pippin, obviously.
So you did Pippin together?
We did Pippin. We were Sky and Sarah in Guys and Dolls. Again, I was a little miscast, but very fun. That was our first show together because I was 9th grade. And Little Red and The Baker and Into the Woods.
And then there you are sitting across the aisle from each other at the Tony Awards.
And Mrs. Gibbs in our town too.
Oh, wow.
Which is really sweet.
And he was wearing your cufflinks. Is that true? I read that. Tell me about that.
This is crazy. So when I turned 16 first, I'm older. When Ben turned 16, 3 months to the day after me, I got him cufflinks with his initials on them, and I cut out a piece of construction paper and wrote one sentence on it with the date, which says, "For when you win your first Tony." And so he put them away. You just knew, like, you genuinely knew, like, he was this talent, and he had the drive and the charm and the work ethic, and he put them away. He took them from place to place that he moved, and then he took them out.
And he wore them that night.
He wore them, yeah.
So when we look back at 2017, you've got Hello, Dolly. Crazy. You have Tony Night with your best friend. You have this incredible film.
This movie.
We have to get going, so I just want, what would be your hashtag for 2017? Let's just boil it right down.
Oh gosh, I'm so lucky. That's what it would be.
Hashtag I'm so lucky.
I'm so lucky. Hashtag I can't believe I'm here. Maybe that's a better one. I'm really thrilled to be here. To share this movie with the world feels like a gift, and especially with the theater community, I think they'll really love it because it has strong Sondheim roots.
Yes, and that's the important takeaway.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming, Beanie.
Thank you
It was
so
wonderful
much.
to have you.
This is really exciting to be here. Thank you.
When we come back, we get a dazzling look at Hugh Jackman, Keala Settle, and more stars in the spectacular trailer for The Greatest Showman.
Broadway's Come From Away is a Best Musical winner all across North America. This stirring and inspiring musical takes you to a place you never want to leave. Celebrate the best of humankind and the best in all of us at Come From Away, the remarkable true story of the small town that welcomed the world.
Hi, I'm Stark Sands, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with the fantastical trailer for The Greatest Showman. The P.T. Barnum bio-musical, led by Hugh Jackman, hits the big screen on December 20th.
See you next week.
So tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night, impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show.
Does it bother you that everything you're selling is fake?
Do these smiles seem fake?